If you don't know that much about private prisons, that is not your fault. This industry has spent billions of dollars to make sure that you don't know about their heinous activities. Today on Never Again Action Tennessee University, we will be shining a light on the private prison industry and the role that it plays in immigrant detention. Let's begin with exploring the concept of a private prison. Prisons are understood as buildings where individuals are legally, although often illegally, held either as punishment for a crime or while they await trial. Historically, prisons have been an extension of the state's criminal justice system. Private prisons are pretty much just that. Prisons that are owned and operated by private corporations instead of by federal, state, or local governments. While corrections departments across the country contract with private prisons to hold inmates, these private organizations are operated independently of the state and have much less oversight and accountability. The private prison industry was born in Nashville, Tennessee, when Thomas Beasley, Dr. R. Krantz, and T. Don Hutton founded the Corrections Corporation of America, now known as CoreCivic, in 1983. A few years later, in 1987, the Wackenhut Corrections Corporation, later renamed GEO Group, was founded. These two corporations are currently the largest private prison companies in the country and have been at the forefront of the privatization of the criminal justice system. The use of private prisons exploded in the 90s as Bill Clinton launched the war on crime. An increased emphasis on law enforcement led to an explosion of the prison population. Punitive laws such as California's infamous three strikes policy and nationwide truth in sentencing laws meant that state facilities were overwhelmed. They inevitably turned to private prisons to supplement their facilities. Growth has skyrocketed in the past 3 decades. From the year 2000 to 2016, the private prison population, both state and federal, grew by 47%. The private prison industry has entrenched itself in our political system. In 2016, the CEOs of CoreCivic and GEO Group donated millions of dollars to President Trump's campaign, as well as to both Democratic and Republican legislators. Private prisons have been able to bribe our leaders into ignoring the horrific abuses that occur behind closed doors. It is well known that private prisons routinely abuse their prisoners and deny them safe and clean facilities. Multiple ACLU and Department of Justice reports detail systemic violence against those experiencing incarceration. A 2004 DOJ report highlighted how at a CoreCivic juvenile detention facility, there was a disturbing degree of violence by staff against the prison population. Studies show that folks experiencing incarceration are twice as likely to be assaulted in a private prison than in a state facility. Private prisons have also played a prominent role in expanding immigrant detention. GEO Group and CoreCivic have specifically pioneered private immigration detention. Approximately 4,800 Immigration and Customs Enforcement detainees were held in privately run facilities. By 2017, that number had jumped to 26,249 people. That is primarily due to the expansion of immigration enforcement under Presidents Bush, Obama, and now Trump. In the past 3 years, 24 new private facilities and more than 17,000 beds were added to house detained migrants. A USA Today investigation into private immigration detention centers revealed more than 400 allegations of sexual assault or abuse, inadequate medical care, regular hunger strikes, frequent use of solitary confinement, more than 800 instances of physical force against detainees, nearly 20,000 grievances filed by detainees, and at least 29 fatalities, including 7 suicides, since Trump took office in January of 2017. In that same time period, profits for CoreCivic and GEO Group grew to $2.45 billion and $1.97 billion, respectively. Dismantling the entire immigration detention system requires the abolition of private facilities built to house them. Even though the odds are daunting, we have the power to abolish the private prison industry and the carceral state. In 2016, President Obama acquiesced to activist pressure and ordered the end of federal use of private prisons. In fact, CoreCivic almost went out of business that year due to activist efforts. Even though Attorney General Jeff Sessions rescinded the order, it shows that GEO Group and CoreCivic are not all-powerful. The carceral state can be defeated. A better world is possible. Together with other prison abolition organizations, Never Again Action will continue fighting until every single person experiencing incarceration is free.